What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 35 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Blue Bones.
What's going on, yo?
As well as Mr. Gamer.
Hello there.
And as you can see, we kicked Jeff off the show. He was just way too aggressive.
Terrible, bro.
If you listen to the last show, he was just starting fights left and right. We had enough of it. No, Jeff is taking care of JJ. He's still a little sick. So they're going to some doctor's appointments and stuff, I believe. So we'll see him in the near future. But as we always do, we're going to start with what we've been playing for the past week. Anybody want to go first?
I got it.
What's up?
I got it. You guys saw me stream Comrades again this week. Well, no, this is actually the first time I streamed it on a scheduled stream. Mm-hmm. But I've been talking about it for weeks. Anyway,
you have
been.
Yes,
I have been talking about it for weeks. I love that game. It's a nice cross between Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter, in my opinion. And those are two really good franchises and games. And it's super fast to jump in and out. And I'm still not done with it. I have a lot more to do.
What exactly is there that you're doing? Because I think last week you mentioned endgame stuff. Maybe not on the podcast, but somewhere you were talking about endgame stuff. Yeah, so once and this is not really spoilers, but the first objective you have is to collect like 7 sigils. So it's basically saying 7 different classes, 7 different play styles, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the main game. And then after that, the end game is the last 6. So it's a lot harder to get the last 6 than it is to get the first 7. And there's like a whole bunch of bosses that they throw at you that are available that are super high level. You can beat the game at level. What'd you beat it at, Gamer? It was like 30 or like 25 or something like that.
Well, but remember game. That was about that level, but the missions before that, I was playing with like you and other people versus like having the AI. Had I been doing it solo with the AI, I don't think I would have made it as fast. I wouldn't have made it as well as I did.
So all that to say, I finished it around level, I'll say around level 35, right? Mm-hmm. When I got to the end game and I'm getting all these bosses are level 70, 80. I think I have a 90 boss on my list. So I'm like, I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, like I'm not supposed to be here. What is going on?
I'm not supposed to be here. This is the wrong side of town. So, I'm up to like level 50 now, I want to say. And I'm being able to hold my own with some of the AIs. It's funny, in the base game, the AIs, they do their job, but you don't really notice the classes that they are and how effective it is. You see it now, right, Gamer? Like you cannot cross over roles. If you have somebody that's a healer, don't play a healer yourself. You're losing out on DPS and you both gonna die from low health. Like it's just, you really have to coordinate. And when you get that flow going, like Gamer, Uncle Fall, and DJ and I were playing one night, and once everyone plays their roles, it looks amazing because everyone's kind of like flashing all over the place and breaking stuff, and time slows down a little bit when like horns break off and stuff. Yeah, and the counters, and then everything goes in slow motion for everybody, and one
person's counter makes the whole thing go in slow-mo
on the bosses. Yeah, so the boss is then lit up in blue and everybody has to attack the boss while it's vulnerable. And man, what I'm talking about, like, because in that state, you can get up to 5 times damage with your warp strike. So, man, you can take down bosses fast. And sometimes you have to counter them 2-3 times, especially some of the bigger guys. But yeah, it gets to be really fun. It starts off in like more open fields, and then it gets to really close personal boss versus you 4. Mm-hmm. And these bosses, they have attitude. They scream at you. You hit them with the wrong weapons. They get upset and they do like some countering moves that are crazy dangerous. So I'm learning to be prepared for kind of more situations than I was in the past. And I'm still building weapons. I'm still hunting for materials to craft this up. So it's really, I'm telling you, it's a great crossover between Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter. What were you gonna say, Gamer? I see
what I was going to mention when you had said that the bosses get angry at you. One of the things that I noticed was before you definitely have the Monster Hunter vibe where it's like, oh, go out in the field and just go fight these things, and then later you get to an arena where it's like, okay, I noticed that you keep doing a warp strike. If you warp strike me one more time, I'm knocking you down. And sure enough, you will get knocked down.
That's pretty funny.
So like
or the one with like the Zarya and Reinhardt together. That guy where it's like not only does he have a huge hammer, but the hammer pulls you in as he smashes you down.
So the healer has to be on point. Anytime the healer can, they need to be healing in the middle of all that, or else everybody will die. And then get out ASAP. Yeah. So there's like different points around the whole map that you can kind of teleport to for safety. Mm-hmm. As a healer, I like hanging out there, and as soon as I see my boys like starting to lose health, I jump in, heal, and then get out before I take any damage. Because everyone can recover their health, but your permanent maximum HP goes down over time if you're taking hits while you've already if you're taking multiple hits in succession. So that's what the healer is for, to help mitigate that and keep everybody's health and defense up.
Interesting.
So, yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and it looks great in my opinion. I love how they take screenshots for you mid battle. They look amazing.
Yeah, I remember you posted the one of you getting beat up, and then like your AI partner taking a screenshot in the background. Yeah. Look at this a-hole.
What's his name?
Prompto, I think, right?
Yeah. There's a one-on-one fight with Prompto, which is from the main game. He's one of the main characters, and he turned me into stone in this one-on-one fight. Now, during the fight, I didn't, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I come out the fight and we're still scrapping. So later on, I go check the pictures. Not only did this guy turn me into stone, he took a selfie. He said, boom, like that, and started smiling. And I was like, yo, this man's straight disrespectful. It's funny, though. It was funny, though. I've been playing.
Like, raging
I think I have the gamer too
in the corner.
No, because see, I had no idea that was happening. So literally, fight starts, boom, I'm stoned, and I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm not taking any damage. And then this little thin piece of twig over here is just going like, let me take a selfie. Click. And I'm just like,
so you actually saw him take the selfie.
Yes,
I was facing the wrong direction.
I saw him turn my character to stone, dash over to me, slide, and like slide up in here right quick.
Like the animations in that game,
that's really
are
funny.
Gorgeous, 100% gorgeous. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
So
that game is funny.
So that's it for you for the week, mostly?
No, I actually been jumping back into Final Fantasy 14. New patch 5.2 just dropped. I got Mr. Gamer there. I know you're going to talk about it in a little bit too. So, Gamer joined back up. My boy Pitt came back up. So the whole Gentle Guard free company is on the way back up and operational. When times get busy throughout the year, things get slow on MMOs, but we're getting closer and closer into the warmer seasons, and summertime is going to be pretty big too for Final Fantasy. So we're all excited. It's a nice coming out of the winter, really. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been playing. I do Overwatch every now and then, but that's the main things I've been playing.
So what about you, Gabriel? You can start with Final Fantasy since Blue kind of handed it
off.
I
got you on that. I got you, bro.
So I finally wanted to jump back into that, and I think I had mentioned this before. I unfortunately had the RPG curse of haven't played this in months. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, speaking with the free company that I'm a part of, the Gentle Guard, I was like, okay, so yeah. And it was like, oh yeah, why are you still an Arcanist? I don't know. I don't know how to change classes. All right, yeah, let's go fix that. So we actually went to the free company house, and they showed me like all these huge spectacular moves that I can do. Right. I'm just
we gave him what we call a light show, which is like a skill exhibition. So if you want to check out this class, this is kind of what it looks like at the end, because we have training dummies outside the house. Mm-hmm. So me and a couple of cats, including Miss Chibs, jumped out there and just did all our moves and showed them like, yeah, this is kind of damage you can put out if you're going to this class. So
yeah, and
like a demo.
I went over to the ninja because I'm like, okay, no, I like being a ninja in some games. It's pretty cool. And then I didn't like the fact that I have to be so close to my enemies to do damage because I'm just not used to that. Like I typically play like I'm going to hit you really, really hard from a safe distance away. Can't do that with a ninja. I got little daggers. I'm just like ding, 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 right, in front of you. So I'm just like, all right, let me go switch to the thaumaturge. But I'm like, okay, well, where is it? And then I had to look up the wiki. Then I had to make sure to do the quest. Then all this other stuff.
A lot of work.
And now I'm finally a level. I'm finally a level 5 thaumaturge. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, but I like it a whole lot more. The combinations of fire and ice and all those other abilities. That's something I like. Wife and I played Overcooked 2, and that was oof.
That was mad adorable.
I missed the stream, but like we played some Overcooked at the UAL meetup. Yep. What was that, a year or two ago at this point?
Oh shoot.
That might be like 2 years back at this point.
Oh my gosh. It might be.
I found that game super frustrating. Like I don't think I'm a fan.
Well, so so we only got to the second world during the stream, and it's a maximum. Okay, okay. That's only because we had played it a whole lot off stream, but after a while it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you're in this part of the kitchen and she's in this part of the kitchen, toss me ingredients so I can cut it, but wait, I have empty plates here, I gotta wash those plates, and then oh, by the way, the kitchen that you're in, it just completely crashed, and now you have some things that are on fire, and then after that you gotta find a way to put out the fire. Oh, and by the way, still make all these dishes
right
for these people while this is happening.
Like, don't evacuate the building or nothing. Just
yeah, it's a dinner and a show. That's fine. We're providing entertainment and food. So there's all of that. I have been getting in some more Overwatch. I need to stretch my tank and DPS muscles. So I've been playing a lot of Mei and a lot of Roadhog. I've been getting my businesses. Yeah, I've been getting my businesses set up and GTA, and I am working on my all my characters in Borderlands, because now that the level cap has increased to 53, all my gear that I have now is useless.
That's
so gotta go get max level gear again.
Yes, how does it work? Like after a while, like forget all this. Come on, get the new stuff.
And it's like, well then, if you're going to pull my arm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't have to pull much of anything for very long.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Oh, but I also have this to.
What are they?
Oh, nice.
I have this to get into as well, and I've only heard good things, but I feel like if I start playing this, I'm not going to play anything else for a while. So I have to be careful with that.
Well, how? Because Blue, you actually finished all of it, right?
Yeah.
And by this, he's talking about Jedi, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, because if you're listening, you wouldn't have seen that he just pulled the disc up. But
you should have known by my expression.
Just read the happiness in Blue's voice. So he's talking about Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, and how long was that game for you to actually finish?
I took my time. I explored every single world as much as I could. And I'm still have like 2% on most of the worlds to finish up, because afterwards they kind of let you go and explore. But oh my gosh, I don't know how long that took me. I was so wrapped up into it. I'll say
that's what's gonna happen.
3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Casually doing it.
Because I feel like they said it's like a 40 hour-ish experience, like maybe like the longer side if you do all the things, but if you're just mainlining the story, like maybe like 25-30 hours.
Yeah, it's relatively short if you just mainline the story, but I don't know how you can mainline the story and not explore. Like,
well, not everybody cares that much about Star Wars.
I understand that, but I mean, like, just to get. Well, the thing is, right? Most of the drops in there are abilities, and those come through the story. So it's either abilities or it's aesthetic gear. So it doesn't really matter what you're like I said, you're gonna get the abilities to the story anyway, so it doesn't really matter to explore around. But there's just so many like lefts and rights you can take that lead on to so many different journeys. Like you never feel like you're going the wrong direction unless you've seen a place before. You're like, oh yeah, I do remember this, and then you start using the map and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm trying to imagine it from a non-Star Wars point of view, like Star Wars fan, heavy Star Wars fan point of view. And
it's impossible, of course.
I think it's impossible. I don't think you can mainline the story and not like, what's around that corner? I might pick up something cool there. You're like, I think all the rewards are cool.
Okay. I mean, I have that on my PC, so I do want to mess with it eventually.
I think you'll like it. I like the main character. He's a cool character.
Cal
anyway,
Kestis.
It's not about me. Yeah, Cal Kestis.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Gamer says he's gonna start it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear what you think of that.
I don't want to give. I've already given my crazy review about it, so I want to hear yours.
Yeah, it will be interesting to look at it because it's not that I'm not a fan, but you have an extremely more detailed knowledge of this, and I'm like, I don't even know who these people are, but this gameplay, the gameplay looks interesting.
Yeah,
but so that's all you've been playing for the week, I'm assuming, Gamer?
Yes.
Jumping off of Star Wars, last week I streamed more Sekiro, and those games are actually very similar in terms of how they play.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's one of the main reasons why I actually want to play Star Wars Jedi Order, Fallen Order. But in Sekiro, I spent the entirety of that 2-hour stream on the same boss fight. Bro, the Guardian Ape. Oh my god. First of all, I talked about it the previous stream because I ended the previous stream fighting that guy. Yeah. But it was only, I want to say, for like maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes, because it was like near the end. So I figured, okay, maybe it'll take the first hour. We'll get through this fight. Within the first hour, I recognized most of his patterns, except for like maybe one attack pattern that he would throw and just throw me for a loop and kill me 50% of the time. But I finally killed him within that first hour. Like you saw me,
all kinds of.
We was hyped. We was hyped.
Yeah.
And then this guy,
he beheaded him.
He starts off with a sword like in his neck or whatever. You fight him, and when you kill him, you grab that sword that was in his neck and chop the rest of his head off.
Yeah, it was brutal, and I was like, "Yeah, that was a good one."
But this dude gets up, picks up the sword, picks up his head, and starts a second boss fight. Immediately after.
Stronger than last one. So y'all gotta watch Casey go through these because, like, especially that first phase, right? He's really looking like a ninja, a samurai. You know, like he's not getting hit. He's dodging all the like little tantrum attacks that this guy has. When he looks like he's down, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, go for the attack. But Casey knows to back up because he's gonna turn over and just bang, bang, bang. So I was like, oh man, he's got this whole thing on lock. He's memorized this. And then he finally gets the head off. I was like, yes, he earned it.
I was so happy.
And then this boy comes up with the head and the knife and just starts.
So a completely new fighting style. He's using the sword now. So
and now you gotta parry.
Yeah, like the interesting thing about the Guardian Ape fight was that mostly all characters in the game are also sword users. So you're parrying them to basically get the edge, break their posture, kill them. You know, this guy is a monkey. He doesn't use a sword. He's throwing hands. You can't parry a fist. No. So like it changes up the gameplay. Like this is a boss fight where you have to dodge, which is actually something I actually prefer in most action games. Like I like dodging around and then coming in for my attacks. Mm-hmm. But then he switches back to the sword. He's like, if you ever like seen Voldo from like Soul Calibur, like that's kind of what this guy is fighting like now. Like he's like snake-like. He's like wiggling. The timing is so different. And, like, of course, he immediately kills me. Like, I don't know how to approach him even because I was so dead set on the previous fight. So it's like, okay, I died. Please tell me this is a checkpoint. Nope. I have to then fight the Guardian Ape again and then be sure that I have enough resources. I need to have enough resources to finish his second phase. and I could not do it. Not within those 2 hours.
It was heavy, man.
All right, so yikes! I don't think I'll be touching this game for a while, man. Is there like a Planet Fitness for this kind of thing? Because it sounds like you had some trials.
Oh my god! Yeah. And the thing is, because of like my time schedule, I don't get to just jump back into Sekiro and keep hitting it. Like, so like I'm gonna take about a week off for the most case.
You always got to check off the rest when you get back to it.
Right. So I don't know. Like,
that's how I felt about Gears last week on our Free For All Friday. I'm like, man, I don't know how to play this game. I don't know how to run. I don't know how to shoot nobody. This Nasher is stupid.
Yeah, you always feel like, oh, it's the game's fault, but no, you gotta reacclimate yourself to what they want you to do, and it's hard when you're playing something once a week. But either way, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like at present, I still think the Genichiro boss fight is like a better fight.
Okay.
But the animation for the Guardian Ape, like the way he moves around, like that, oh my god, that fight is beautiful. And I talked about it on the stream, but the way that fight starts, he's just alone in that big kind of, wet marsh. Like it's like ankle high water. There's trees all over the place.
He's just chilling too.
You walk up to him and he just turns his head and the music starts. It's like, doom, fight is on.
He's breaking down trees left and right too.
Yeah, like the way he just moves around, he just knocks down trees and stuff. And like you can grapple on those to kind of get away from him if you really need to. But as the fight goes on, he's knocking out more and more of them, so it makes it less of an option. So I kind of was like, I'm not even going to rely on that at all because I know it's going to disappear in the future. But I think, man, that fight is fun.
Second phase, there's hardly any trees left.
Yeah, there's no trees to run away to in that second phase. But that second phase, I just need to see it more often so I can finally get the hang of the very weird sword strikes and parry him into oblivion, because that's the only way I'm going to get through that. And I'm it's just going to take time. Like, that's all. But still loving Sekiro. I also played a ton of a game called Corruption 2029. It actually released, I want to say 2 weeks ago, but I'm playing it for review.
Okay.
Review video wasn't done yet. I'm going to be working on that probably tomorrow. So by the time this podcast drops, the review might drop on Escapist.
Okay.
Which is Tuesday. But I told you last week I was playing Mutant Year Zero, which is a turn-based tactics game that lets you walk around in the overworld. This is the same team, which is why I was actually checking out Mutant Year Zero, because I knew I was going to get this game to review. And it's pretty much the same game. Like, not in a bad way. Like I still find that kind of stealth phase where you're just creeping around the map. You see where all the enemy positions are. You can kind of circle around them. They have vision cones, and you can like sneak between them. If you're not crouched down and you're like trying to run past, they'll be able to hear and see you. So the vision cone will like expand like super quick and stuff. So it's dangerous to move fast through like a crowded area. Yeah. But if you're stealthy, if you use like the proper weapons from the right distances, other enemies won't hear you. You can take out a guy and then remain in the stealth phase, try to whittle down their forces, and then start a big engagement with, explosives. Like you can plant remote mines in specific locations and then start a fight to lure people to that area and then have somebody set it off. Like, it was really, really fun. Like, the tactics were solid, and the game is like stupid hard. Like, they throw you into situations where, and you can only ever use 3 characters. So you're in situations where you're vastly outnumbered. They have vastly superior firepower, and the only thing you have on your side is the element of surprise.
Wow. Okay.
So
I see that.
Yeah.
There was which game was it on? Oh, I know what it was. It was on the 3DS. It was a Ghost Recon game. It's a tactical game.
A Ghost Recon turn-based tactics game?
Yeah. It was XCOM-like. And that it had the same kind of mentality where you never really had the upper hand besides the stealth factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a lot like that.
Everything, yeah.
So it's like you really benefit from that stealth phase because like they hide things in the map. Like you'll find things like remote explosives, like grenades, or you'll find a turret code, and then if you find the turret code, that means there are turrets on certain portions of the map. If you find the turret, you can activate it. But you have to do that before the fight starts. If you don't, you won't be able to use or place any of that stuff other than like the grenades and the health packs or whatnot. So it's like, yeah, so you, yeah, Corruption 2029. So you do the recon, and then you plan your attack, and then how successful that attack is based on kind of where you position your guys, how you started off, who you take out first, and then how things play out afterwards. And it's very exciting. It's super satisfying when you can get the win because of how difficult it is and how the odds are stacked so heavily against you. Like, it's really, really fun. I was enjoying it a ton.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, you know me. I love aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
How do the characters look?
Honestly, this game looks beautiful.
Really?
Like it is kind of generic future war soldier type stuff, but just visually and graphically, like, it looks really good. Like these guys will be walking through like a dark forest in the moonlight. Like, you'll be able to see like the reflection of the water, like the little ripples when they step in it. Like, fire effects are beautiful. Like, it really looks good. Like, I was actually very impressed, especially coming off of Phoenix Point previously. That game actually kind of looks like ass in comparison.
I'm looking at some screenshots right now. It almost looks like some Destiny characters.
Yeah, because you only ever play with those 3 guys, and
there's only 3 the whole time?
Yeah, there's only 3 characters. They're not very personable, like, because you're the commander, and they're kind of like cybernetically enhanced ciphers. But you do stick with them the whole game. Like, even if they die in the middle of a fight, if you can win the fight, they wake back up. So you don't have to worry about like permadeath or anything like that. But I mean, it is kind of disappointing that you can't get like a bigger squad to kind of spread out some of your skills and abilities, because they let you do some cool stuff, but you have to pick and choose what you use because they can only hold so much, abilities and weapons on them.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, it was kind of fun. It was part of the fun because that portion was puzzle like in terms of, okay, this is what my objective is. I need these skills and these weapons in order to get it done.
Exactly, and that's what it sounds like. It sounds like this. A lot of these tactic games are virtually puzzle games.
Right. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's cool though.
That's cool. I really enjoyed it.
Interesting game. I might check it out.
Yeah, Corruption 2029. It's out now. I think right now only on the Epic Games Store.
Okay.
But I hope it actually makes its way to some consoles, like even Game Pass. It's only like $20, I think, too. So it's not super expensive.
Okay. I don't think there's a multiplayer option.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
There's no multiplayer on this.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
The Ghost Recon game I was talking about was called Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, and it was on the 3DS.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of that. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't play it a whole bunch, but that was one of the games I did play when the 3DS first came out, because it was an early release.
Yeah. Like a launch window.
Yeah, like that time period.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought it was going to be amazing on the 3DS. Like, when I saw Ghost Recon, I was like, for whatever reason, I'm like, oh yeah, I get a shooting game on my 3DS on the go. Let's go. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, it wasn't what I thought.
But you did like it. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. At least you liked it.
I was surprised.
So that's pretty much all I've been playing for the week. We're going to move on to Blue's News, our Super Smash Sunday recap. Blue, what do you got for us?
It's your boy, Blue. Super Smash Sunday last week, the 16th of February, 2020. We had a really good time. Superman Jeff came out the gates with Zelda. Man, so he's always talking about double teaming, and he was even that night like there was no tomorrow. This night got paid. He did his job. Yeah, no, pretty much the whole first third, it was just Jeff in the night taking names until Tuzaki, aka Too Cheapy, came in and chose random. So that means every stage he had a different character, and he ran the table for another
with a variety of characters. Like, honestly, it's impressive. Like, to have that level of mastery over that much of the roster. Like, it's a little frustrating to fight against because you can't counterpick him. But okay, I want a character that can deal with the range of, say, Zelda or the close quarters stuff of like Terry or something, But I gotta give him respect where respect is due. Like, if you can,
I hear you.
Yeah, like if you can use that many different characters and still kind of dominate a variety of players coming at you with their own characters and styles, like, I mean, you have a really good understanding of the game.
For sure. Yep. And then at the end of it was Sigma running the table. Inkling. Well, you had multiple consecutive wins at the end of that. You had Captain Falcon for a while, actually.
I don't know if I won anything with Captain Falcon though. Not this week.
But Inkling was really what drove it home.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that was the recap of the week. You guys check us out 2:30 Eastern every Sunday till about 5:30 Eastern. That's our dojo time.
Yeah, we ended a little early last week, though, because some of our folks had to leave for other engagements.
Unfortunately.
But normally, it's a 3-hour show. So get in early, get your placements in, get your fights in.
Mm-hmm.
See you next Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll see you today, actually. Well, but you won't hear this till Tuesday, so see you next
Sunday.
Hear I was right.
Speaking from the past.
Anyhow, we're going to move on now to our topics. First up on the list, Sonic the Hedgehog released in theaters and has now become the highest grossing video game movie ever. It beat Detective Pikachu.
Bruh.
Which came out, what, last year? 2 years ago?
Last year.
Yeah. I still need to watch it.
I did. I watched it, I want to say, a couple months ago. I thought it was really good. Haven't watched the Sonic movie, though.
I love Detective Pikachu. Have it on Blu-ray. Yeah. I have a hat. I'm a fan. I'm a very big fan.
So have any of you guys watched Sonic yet, though?
No,
I have not. And I know Jeff went and saw it, and he seemed like he was like ready to talk about it, but he seemed like excited. You know what I mean? I don't think, just basing off from what I know about Superman, Jeff, he liked it. He liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, the reviews aren't, I wouldn't say mixed, but they're like different levels of liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are people who are like, it's fine. Right. Yeah, the Sonic movie's fine. And then there are people who's like, oh, it was actually really good. Yeah. So I don't know where I'll land on it. I don't believe the yeah, they might just be longtime Sonic fans, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that.
So the one thing that we do have, and this won't spoil anything, there is already work of a sequel.
Right. Yeah. And why wouldn't there be? You know, like it broke some records.
Yeah, Jim Carrey said that he loved playing it, and it had been a while. Correct me if I'm wrong, it had been a while since we had seen Jim Carrey in a movie.
In a actual.
Yeah, because he was the Grinch. And before Benedict Cumberbatch.
Kick-Ass 2.
He was what?
Kick-Ass 2. He was the guy with the German Shepherd.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. And you're absolutely right.
Okay, man, I haven't seen. Okay.
Yeah, but that was a while back though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited to I'm excited to see this. Build-A-Bear already has Sonic dolls. I noticed that they did not make a Tails doll, which is fine because the internet would not know what to do with themselves. Do you guys know the story of Tails doll?
No, it's not. Please
enlighten us about Tails doll.
So back when the internet was like about more shocking you, there used to be these creepypasta games, and there was a series of games called Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe was simply, you basically start here, it looks like it's like Green Hill Zone or something like that, and then slowly things would start to go like to Silent Hill levels of creepy. Then we got to Resident Evil levels of creepy. Yeah.
The graphics change, or is it still like this 8-bit, or what's the deal?
Oh no, it's still 8-bit. So you would see some dismemberment of a few things, and one of the biggest things is at the end of it you would see a Tails doll, and it looked innocent enough, and so you, being Sonic, would go over to that Tails doll, and the screen would like blink all of a sudden, and then there'd be a real close-up picture of Sonic with like a really nice looking grin, something like that. And then behind this this Sonic would be a Tails doll, like it was pulling the strings of Sonic, and there is a little bit of the history of Tails doll.
Oh my gosh,
that was awful. I'm mad you told that story.
That's creepy.
Why do people do this?
The same reason that people made Power Thirst, the same reason that people made YouTube poops,
the same reason why people eat Tide Pods.
The same reason why people put Tide Pods on pizza.
Facts.
Because no one told them that they couldn't.
And someone's gonna click on it. And we did.
Maybe you did.
You've never seen those videos?
No. I literally have never, I can tell you with 100% confidence, I've never seen a Tide Pod challenge video. I knew what it was because I watched a video about the phenomenon of those videos, not the actual videos.
Close enough.
The video I watched basically said it was a hoax.
You're click adjacent.
Sure.
So the one thing I do want to say though, so we have Detective Pikachu, we have Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next one that you guys want to see? Like the next live action video game movie? Like what's the next one you would want to see? Because
that does well, I'm assuming.
Huh?
The next one that would do well, like that could probably
not would do well. What do you want?
Personally, okay.
Yes, yeah. What do you want? Like, if I could make the next live action video game movie, it would be blank.
It would be Star Wars. No, just playing.
Doesn't make any sense.
Real talk though.
Mm-hmm.
Knights of the Republic would make a great movie. Or even the latest Star Wars Battlefronts 2 story about Iden Verso, who it pretty much her story covers from it starts at the end of episode 6 and goes into 7. That would be a good like bridge over movie.
I feel like that's outside of the intended goal of the question here because it's already a movie series.
Yeah, it's already a movie series
that has video games.
That's a story I want, but I'll choose something different.
Yeah, me personally, I don't know. Like maybe, and this is gonna sound weird coming from me. Honestly, actually, I'm not gonna say that because that's actually a topic coming up. Coming up next. So I'll be selfish and say.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
I kind of want an animated Mega Man movie.
I thought you said live action.
Yeah.
If
live, it has to be live action. I thought it was just a video.
No,
because Sonic's not technically live action, and neither is Detective Pikachu. They use a lot of CG. Like there are live action people in it, but the main characters are
live action.
Because my whole thing is, I want a Mega Man movie. I don't want Mega Man to be live action. Like I don't want Mega Man to be a dude.
Well, no. Mega Man could be like Pikachu and Sonic, but Mega Man would
maybe cross over to our world somehow.
But if that's the case, then I don't like it as much. Like if Mega Man has to deal with like regular people, then I don't like that idea as much. So I'll scrap that.
It's Mega Man.
But man, yeah, honestly, there aren't a lot of video game stories that I think would be better as live action movies. Like I would like to see their stories. I would like to see some game stories told in like a cinematic format. And for most of those, I'd be fine with the CG approach. But to get actual actors to play, man, that's rough. Because I don't know. I currently don't have an answer.
We're going to be talking about them later.
Okay, so
I thought it was another one. I was like, we're going to talk about that in a second.
All right, so here's me, and I already have how the plot would go. I want Sly Cooper.
But live action?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm about it.
What?
Yes.
I'm about it.
So hold on. Explain this to me.
Hold on. And I will. Okay. So we have CGI Sly Cooper, Bentley, and Murray. Okay. So Bentley, the turtle, is going to develop a machine that is going to assist with Sly trying to steal something. But he will then be teleported to our world where he is still trying to steal something. And you have Inspector Carmelita, but not Carmelita Fox, but you have Inspector Carmelita going after Sly. Because the thing is, this is just, think of it as just like another dimension. So Sly's been pulled out of his, and now he's in another one. I would love to see that, but that's because Sly, like, and I think, I didn't have chance to put it in the to put it in this, but Sucker Punch is making another game, and I want more Sly Cooper. I have Sly Cooper.
Wait, they said they're making another Sly Cooper game or just another game?
No, just another game. Sucker Punch is just making another game. I want another Sly Cooper. I absolutely positively love Sly Cooper. I still have a Sly Cooper cosplay that I'm working on. I was one of those kids who got pictures from DeviantArt and put it with like some weird edgy music and posted the video on YouTube. I will call it. I did it, but
I used to envy you guys because I didn't know how to do that back in the day.
That was what I did because, you know, I was just like, oh yeah, I got this awesome like AMV with these pictures of this alternate color Sly Cooper. And you know what? I'm 30 years old. I can admit this with no shame. I, Mr. Gamer, have partly written a Sly Cooper fan fiction.
No. There you go.
No. And I did it. I did it. I know I can't. I have to accept this about myself if I am going to move on. You cannot live with regrets, listeners. Okay. Never live with any regrets. So yeah, I had my everyone had their own weapon, and my character had like a whip that turned into a sword, and I was helping. Yeah,
that's wild.
I love Sly Cooper. Yes,
did not know that about you, but
yeah,
not surprised.
Okay, so this is my game turn movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
God of War 3 and below. So 3, 2, and 1. Any story between those three?
So you want to see that?
I don't
live
want
action.
to see this one. Yeah, I would like to see that live action.
So that's weird. So you don't want to see the most recent one?
Not necessarily.
Is there any reason why you prefer the previous version of Kratos to the newer one?
I think on screen I prefer the previous version more than the later one. I don't know. I think I'm not gonna say Norse mythology specifically bores me, but I don't know if I could sit 2 hours watching that. Like Beowulf was hard for me. It was just too cold.
You're talking about that movie, right?
Yeah,
because that was never supposed to be a movie. That's why that did that to you. Beowulf is a poem that they turned into a movie. Like, who does that?
It was interesting, you know what I mean? Especially a 13-year-old Blue looking at Angelina Jolie dripping in gold was an interesting.
Yeah, visually that thing was kind of crazy for the time.
Yeah,
but I don't think that should have ever been turned into a movie.
I don't want to see that in God of War. I want to see. I don't want to see the axe, and so I like the chains. I like the blade. I like him taking apart the Greek theocracy, if you will, or I should say, royal court. Or what do you call it? Godly court? I don't know what they call it. Olympus.
Yeah, just
I like him
Mountain Olympus.
That would be super
Pantheon.
Cool. Yeah,
that's the word.
Pantheon. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I mean, if I was gonna go with God of War, I would have flipped it because I feel like from a storytelling perspective, there's a much richer narrative in the new version of the game than the old. The old ones is kind of a classic revenge tale, and you can do a lot with that in terms of like an action.
That's exactly
movie.
What I want.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I want.
So that might be what you're looking for, but I feel like the main character would probably be kind of boring to watch in that context because in the game you get to experience the thrill of combat, and in a movie you're watching somebody else do it. It's not the same effects, but it depends on I guess how they do the combat. You know, for like the action scenes and stuff. Just make it kind of a dumb popcorn spectacle. But man, okay. So you know what? I want to see a live action Rocket League movie.
What's the next subject?
Yikes! All right,
fam.
hold
on. Let me finish now. Let me finish. So, if the whole thing can't be CG, right? Then this is a no-holds-barred stunt extravaganza. Like, I'm talking real cars.
Like Jackass?
No. Like,
or like those monster truck derby kind of things?
Sort of, but, like, it's cinematic, so it's scripted. It's like you're watching, like, like, do you remember the Transporter?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mention that. Back in Hollywood, real quick, when I was living out there, I went out to dinner at Hollywood and Highland out by the Kodak Theater, and I saw Jason Statham in that car that he used.
Really?
I think he actually owns that car.
I would not be surprised. Wow. Yo, first of all, this is a tangent on a tangent. I love Jason Statham.
Yeah, he's amazing.
like I'm a huge Jason Statham fan for just, I don't know. Like, I really like that dude.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Snatch. You know what I mean? Those two movies alone sold me. And then I realized he was the same guy in Transporter. I'm like, okay, that's super cool.
But back to my point, like, you remember that scene where he had a bomb underneath the car? And so he drove off of a pier, flipped the car, had a crane hook, snatched the bomb off. And that's the kind of nonsense I want to see a full hour and a half of. But there's also soccer involved. Like, mix the Transporter and Shaolin soccer into just I think that would be dope.
Okay.
So that's also a dumb action popcorn movie.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Okay, cool.
Because I personally feel like a lot of game stories, like, if the good ones are elevated because of the interaction element. So if you just strip out all the gameplay and turn it into a movie, I'm not that interested in it. Like, they've been trying to do this Uncharted movie for like however long, and they keep running into issues with it because honestly, an Uncharted movie is just Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
There's nothing unique about it. So
I mean, careful, because you're gonna piss off a lot of PlayStation loyalists.
I mean, it's the truth. Like, okay, so let's not focus on Uncharted then. Look at the Assassin's Creed movie. They did everything right for that movie. They got the look right. They got talented actors. But the problem wasn't with the movie. The problem was with the fact that the Assassin's Creed story actually isn't that good. Without the gameplay, that strong premise to give you all the different eras to run around and play in, to just watch someone else do that was not as interesting. The fight scenes were fine. It looked beautiful. It was just boring to watch.
Oh, man. I need to watch that. So there's a lot of stuff I need to watch.
I actually reviewed that back on the Lag channel.
You did?
Yeah.
I remember. And I stopped watching it halfway only because I didn't want spoilers because I had planned to watch it, but I still shared it and feel like that. But yeah, obviously I still haven't watched it, so my backlog is amazing.
But I mean, so those are our picks, I guess, for movies. That answers your question, Gamer.
Yeah, no,
I like that.
and it gives a different. It helps me put things in perspective because I see with you, Sigma, you want that action, but then you preferred the storyline of the newer God of War versus what Blue wanted, which was the previous ones, because I mean, yeah, that's going to be nothing but anger and just like
exactly. Exactly.
Right, because the way I think of it is like video games are their own medium. Like a lot of what Hollywood tries to do is like they want to find something popular and capitalize off the popularity. So let's make a movie. But video games don't necessarily benefit most of the time from having the interactive element, which is their whole deal, stripped out of the property. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
But I mean, then you get instances like Detective Pikachu. Since I've watched that, I haven't watched the Sonic movie yet, but Detective Pikachu, which used the familiar and popular universe to tell an interesting story in its own right. Which is why I applaud them for not just doing a Pokemon movie, but a Detective Pikachu movie, because that was an interesting story in the Pokemon universe that they adapted into a movie. Like,
right.
It was narrative heavy.
Yeah, if you play the actual game, like, it's the story from that game. Like, that game is kind of a puzzle mystery type thing. It's telling you a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. I felt that in my jellies.
Okay, so we'll move on now to our next topic. Blue, you brought this to our attention.
Okay, so we talked. Gamer brought up a really good topic about adapting games to film. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to talk about some games to anime. Overwatch cartoon and Diablo anime seem to be on the way, according to IGN. So first of all, this dude, Nick Van Dyke, he's the president of Activision. Mm-hmm. His name sounds really close to Dick Van Dyke. I need to get it out because I kept calling him Dick Van Dyke in my head.
His parents must have done that on purpose.
They had to have. Like everybody's seen Mary Poppins. Everybody's seen the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah,
like,
he's a household name.
Yeah. If your last name is Van Dyke and you named your kid Nick, it's your fault.
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, your fault. You knew what you were doing.
That being said, no shade to him himself. He was saying that the people who were doing the Skylanders Academy, that TV
right,
adaptation,
I remember that.
Yeah. They're trying to be showrunners for the new projects that they got going up. The executive producer of Diablo wants this anime style to come through as well. And it looks like a lot of them, what they're trying to do is use. Didn't we talk about last week the Castlevania people?
Yeah, I think you did mention them. They were doing. What were they doing? They were doing some other show, right?
Yeah, but these guys are busy. You know what I mean?
I mean, good on them, because like the animation in Castlevania is amazing. Like I was surprised to learn that was an American studio.
Now that being said, right now that's just for more the anime side of it. But Blizzard's been doing a lot of in-house animation that's been amazing.
True.
Look at their Overwatch shorts. You know what I mean? I was lucky. Couple years back, I got to go to BlizzCon and I met some of the art directors on those shorts, specifically the Bastion one. That one kind of hit home for me.
That was a good one
because Bastion was dealing with PTSD from the Omnic War that he was in, you know, and that hit home for me being a vet, and it was really nice. I liked the way that they had Ganymede, I believe is the bird's name.
Ganymede, yeah.
Like the planet, right? Or the moon of Jupiter.
Some planet.
Yeah.
It's one of those planets.
It's like one of the largest moons of Jupiter or something like that. But Ganymede was kind of like Bastion's anchor to today, real world, the peace. And that was really nice to see. That being said, I know that Blizzard can tell stories. We all know Blizzard can tell stories. Let's just see how they decide to do it.
So I think no animation style has been chosen for Overwatch that we know of?
Officially, no. Nothing officially.
So we don't know if it's going to be CG or cartoon or...
They're suggesting anime style, but yeah, we don't know. And remember, we're talking about two different series too. You're talking about Diablo, which is probably going to go more anime, and Overwatch is probably going to stay in the CG side.
But the interesting thing about that, yeah, because there was...
Everybody's thumbnail on this subject was the screenshot from the Doomfist.
Yeah, the Doomfist reveal video.
Yeah,
was anime styled, and it was really good. It was really good. Like honestly, the Overwatch cartoon, whatever this turns into, honestly could go either way. It could be the CG thing or the animated thing.
That's why I'm hyped, and I don't really care.
But honestly, I will say, if it does the CG route, it does run the risk of having to downgrade the quality, because those much shorter ones from Blizzard are very high quality. They're like Pixar quality movies. You know what I mean? If this is going to be a series, it's going to look more like the stuff that plays on, like, think Jimmy Neutron even.
Ooh, you think so?
I mean, it probably won't be. It probably won't be that bad. It probably won't be that bad. But like, here's a better example. If anyone is a fan of the How to Train Your Dragon series,
yeah, I've seen the
TV show is a downgraded version of the movie, and those movies look amazing. Like they use high quality CG, and then the show is passable. It's like they just use CG. I don't know what quality it is. A lot of people love this show. And isn't Troll Hunters like a spin-off or from the same studio or something like that? It might be from the same studio, but I don't think it's like related to the world.
Okay, I'm not. I haven't really watched them. I just know people who are fans.
I saw maybe 2 episodes of that.
Yeah, not doing it for you.
I mean, I forgot that it was a thing, so I guess not. Until you just mentioned it, I was like, I did actually watch some of that. It was fine. Like if Starboy actually cared more about it, I might have finished it.
Jump into it.
Yeah, he didn't.
Gamer, how do you feel about this, bro?
So I am definitely curious, and notice how I'm. It's because I
want to hear this.
So there are parts of Overwatch Heroes stories that I want to know more about, like Mei, Sombra, Zarya, Zenyatta. That would be amazing. So how I feel about it possibly being a series, I am cautiously optimistic about it. And I say that because I've already seen a lot of like fan animations of what people have done with the story. So I'm like, well, I've already seen this, but they're going to be giving us like official stuff. Mm-hmm. So it could be even better, or it possibly could be what we had with the first iteration of Sonic the Hedgehog and be absolute horse garbage.
Okay. Can I say something about that?
Possibly.
I think that was a publicity stunt.
Why do you think that was a publicity stunt?
That's my conspiracy theory. Bro, first iteration doesn't look like anything. There is no way anybody approved that.
But I feel like the reason why they would have wanted to do that is because they wanted to differentiate it and say, okay, so now we can make money off of our version of Sonic, the movie Sonic, and people was like, oh no, don't do
that. Like no.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, gamer, but I just
but no, that's where I am with it. I'm not so deep between like what different studios will do, but my thing is always going to be, if you're going to make something based off of a game that has an established set of insert whatever you want here, how close is it going to be to that? Because if you make me if we watch this and there's an awesome, compelling something with Sombra, hey, maybe I just might be playing Sombra. See, I have more emotional attachment possibly to it than like what they would be able to do with the story. Because, you know, at the end of the day, for me, it's about how it makes me feel at the end of it. So cautiously optimistic is the best that I can give.
I mean, I do feel like it's a good opportunity because people 100%. Who love the Overwatch universe have wanted them to tell more of the story because they hint at things, and honestly, they've been kind of coming up with it as they've gone along because things have started to because honestly, some of the parts of their story clash with other parts of the story. Like they have to reinvent things. Oftentimes, like look it up. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but there's some things in their lore that kind of really don't make a lot of sense, and they need to clean that up. I think a series would give them the opportunity to just focus on how all of the characters actually connect to one another and give it like a linear timeline that the fans can latch onto.
Okay, I'm not sure. I've seen confusion in the narrative timeline of Overwatch, but I could be wrong. I'll do the research, but everything I've seen has matched up. I read the comics, I've read the character descriptions, not all the bios, and there's like 2 short stories that I'm like halfway through. But I haven't seen any inconsistencies so far. That's surprising for me to hear. So I'll look that up. But that could definitely be cause for concern. But like you said, it's a good opportunity to set the record straight. I think Star Wars kind of did the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but they realized that they needed to set the record straight too when they started nixing everything. Like, look, this isn't canon no more. This ain't canon no more. Just follow this path. Yeah. So it would be on a much smaller scale. It would be a good way to set the record straight if that's the case.
I mean, as far as video game stories go, I like this is what I was gonna mention.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I realized, or I've forgotten that, okay, we were actually going to talk about that. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I would want to see translated because it has a rich lore and I want it to be fleshed out.
I feel you.
More so Overwatch than Diablo. I'm not the biggest Diablo fan, but
I don't think anybody is.
No. I love Unfortunately,
Diablo, but the story is close to non-existent for me. I think there's cool characters, cool bosses. But the story doesn't mean a whole bunch to me in Diablo. I'll give you that. And that's kind of what you were talking about earlier. You know, it's really the player experience that drives the game.
The love and the connection to the property. Mm-hmm. And if you were to just turn that into a movie, unless it tells a very interesting story in its own right, you're not going to care about it.
Oh yeah, as a storyteller, and it's funny because I was just telling my friend about my favorite comic, and everybody should read it. It's called Invincible, right? It's one of the it's one of the best stories. And if you want to talk about something that I want, like as a TV show, 100% Invincible. That'll be top of my list. But anyway, the reason why I liked that series so much is because you start reading and you start learning about this universe at the same pace as the main character. So it's just like, and the main character makes a lot of logical decisions and thoughts. So you're really sitting there like, okay, this makes sense. And every random thing that hits him in life is really impactful. And you feel it as a reader. So if they can do that kind of deal with with any of these video game movies, because a lot of times they kind of assume everybody knows the universe and just jump into it, that's when it's not amazing. You know what I mean?
The opposite of that is also true. Sometimes they're like, nobody knows this universe, and I'm gonna over-explain everything here, and then like longtime fans
Witcher
watch
did
it
that
and
for
go.
me. Witcher was that for me. It was a lot of explanations, and then very confusing convergence at the end.
A little bit, yeah.
It was fun.
But I mean, to keep things on this movie trend, because that's most of the news this week. Gamer, you brought up a new movie that's on the horizon as well.
This is the other one I was going to mention.
So Eli Roth is directing a Borderlands movie for Lionsgate, as according to Gizmodo.com. And the first thing that I thought of was this. Okay, so where are they going to start? And just to keep it simple, what missions are they going to choose? Because there are certain plot things that happen in the game, and they're basically missions. You could take missions from Borderlands 1, 2, let's not talk about the pre-sequel, and really tell a movie from it. Yes, I'm sorry, the pre-sequel was hot, absolute garbage.
Every time it's brought up, you say the same thing.
Because it's always true.
So I mean, what do you think would be the best portion of Borderlands story to fit in a movie? Like, are you saying like combine everything that's kind of happened so far into one thing?
No. I think that they need to take a select few. I think they should do this just like there's Borderlands 1, 2, and Borderlands 3. I think that's what they should definitely do here. They need to have an introduction of Handsome Jack, but the introduction of Handsome Jack can be just like a little bit of the beginning of one, but they definitely have the missions with the original where it's Mordecai, Brick, Lilith, and Roland. Obviously, you got to have them. They have to properly introduce Angel. They have to properly introduce, as annoying as it is, Claptrap.
Oh, you know there's going to be a freaking Claptrap.
I forgot about that.
They're going to like no one can deny it. Claptrap is a very important part of Borderlands. He is. He is. Sorry, he is. But yeah, like the introductions of the Destroyer, of all the vaults, because the big bad in 2 was Handsome Jack. The big bad in 1 was the Destroyer, and even that doesn't get fully dealt with. So there's a lot that they can do, but honestly, just take a few story missions and, kind of like put it all together. Cause I mean, it's a Borderlands game. I'm not looking for a rom-com or anything like that. I'm looking for ridiculous weapons with ridiculous guns. I really want to know how they're going to do the psychos, or is it just going to be similar to Mad Max? I hope not. I really don't want that, because psychos in Borderlands, and then whatever those things were in Mad Max, completely different.
Yeah,
Warboy. Thank you. And with that being said, there's also the additional characters in the event that they do mesh 1 and 2 together, like Krieg the Psycho. I don't know actors very well. I would love to see someone try to do Krieg the Psycho. He was my favorite character in 2, and I absolutely positively love him. There is in his fire skill tree, he says a long line when you actually like activate that skill, and the only part of it I can initially remember is, and I will be best supporting actor. And
so that Krieg the Psycho, he was a DLC character or something, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yes, he was the first. He was the second melee focused Vault Hunter, with Brick being the first, but he had a buzzsaw axe. That was his thing. He was very OP in that game.
What's the dude's name that played in Split?
James McAvoy?
Yes. I think he could do it.
Okay, now
the Psycho?
Yeah,
James
I think
Craig.
Okay, he's gonna have to get like.
he's gonna get jacked.
Yeah, he's gonna get super jacked.
He's not out of shape though.
Well, no, but like the thing about Creed the Psycho is like the definition of like the ridiculous, muscles and then the mask and the crazy voice. I don't, because I'm also thinking who would play like Lilith and Roland, because those two would definitely have a lot of screen time versus like Mordecai or Brick.
Yeah. Well, now this is my thing though, right? In game, they have live action versions of mostly the sirens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think those look terrible.
They do. They look
awful. 100%. So that's what I'm afraid of. If they do anything like that, I am not going to like this. Like, I'm looking at the makeup imperfection on screen. I'm looking at the wig on screen. I can see like the line on her wig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks bad.
It does.
That's the only thing I don't like about Borderlands in general. Those, if they were all CGI like or not CGI, but computer generated, yeah. If they're all CGI like the rest of Borderlands, I think I'd be 100% on that. But that's just so jarring.
So here's my take, and you guys are not gonna be surprised. It's kind of the opposite. I think this is a awful idea.
Why?
I feel like Borderlands 2 is the only game in the entire series, other than the Telltale one, because I haven't played that, but I only hear good things about it. But Borderlands 2 is the only game in the main series that has an interesting story. Like, it was funny. It was, the characters were, like, the newer characters they introduced were fun. Like, stuff happened, and I cared about it. In 2, if they made a movie, it would have to focus on Handsome Jack and just other events that happened in 2, because nothing else really mattered, and nothing else is really that interesting. And honestly, if they mixed in anything from 3, you're kind of telling a whole other story.
True.
And like you don't want to do that in a single movie.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, considering the fact that I do agree with you about the focus on Handsome Jack. I definitely agree with that one. But I think also having to mention the Destroyer, considering Borderlands 3, I think that would also be something important to.
I don't think, if they make this movie, I don't think they should do anything in relation to Borderlands 3 whatsoever. I'm
talking about from 1, because the Destroyer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in Borderlands 1, people hated that whole thing because that was the end of that game. Remember? Like, you were playing, you were doing the whole thing, you were trying to find the vault, and then you open the vault, and it's a monster called the Destroyer, and that's when you learn what the heck this was all about. And no one liked that. That ending was bad. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I played that game over and over and over for a whole summer.
I'm talking about the ending. I played a ton of Borderlands 1 as well. But the ending of Borderlands 1 is not a good ending for that game. It's not a good ending for a story.
It was a good twist.
Nah, that was awful.
I liked it.
That was awful.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think, listeners and viewers? Did Borderlands 1 have a good ending or not?
Did Borderlands 1 have a good story? Let's ask that question. What do you think
about
that?
Did it have a good story?
I'm asking you guys right now. Did Borderlands 1 have a good story?
I can't vouch for the whole thing.
Can you even remember what happened in Borderlands 1 other than the ending?
It was years ago, bro.
Okay,
but you just played through Borderlands 3. All those characters are still there. Like, you guys remember what happened in Borderlands 2? That was also years ago, right?
Oh, I don't.
Yes. Okay. So because I know how things tied up, if we were just looking at Borderlands 1 on its own, I would agree with you that the story is not very compelling or good. But in combination with what we all know, I understand how that was such an integral piece of what happened, because while everything was happening in 1, you still had Typhon DeLeon doing all of his things. True. So there were things that were happening in tandem we just didn't know. So yes, I would say
after the fact. So I get what you're saying. You're saying this, basically what you're saying is the story's better now than it was then.
And that's what they have to work with.
Yeah.
Fair, but it's a movie. You can't work with all of the lore. You got to pick and choose. Like, just like you're saying that there were four main characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get 4 main characters in a movie. You're gonna get 1, 2, maybe.
I feel you. It could be a squad, but
yeah, because we still have we. What about Jumanji?
I mean, Jumanji, you're right. That's an ensemble. That's kind of with 4 main characters.
Yeah, they
but that's an ensemble movie. That's a comedy in the vein of like Ghostbusters. They're like, okay, let's get these guys together and let's do a thing.
Borderlands is the comedic Mad Max.
But here, okay, the only way to make that work is if all 4 of the people you cast are like big name celebrities, or at least all like 3 of the 4 are big name celebrities. That's the only way that's gonna work.
So I feel like we're getting into more like what it has to be successful as far as actors, but going back to like story and what it could bring, I think we can all agree, even though Sigma has some reservations to it, that if done right, yes, though part of it may not be as interesting, Sigma says, with Borderlands 1. Obviously,
standalone, I guess. He's saying that any of them standalone is not interesting.
Yeah. And any is that correct to say that on their own?
Yeah, you would
only probably 2.
Yeah, you would only have to do a story involving 2.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like the plot in 2 is the only place they could go if they're even going to use stories from the game. Because I don't know how familiar you guys are with Eli Roth. He's actually not a very well esteemed director in recent years. Like he has a bunch of controversy. Like one of the movies he released kind of got a ton of flack for being like very racist.
What?
Yeah, and
well, at least he's not David Cage.
He did Hostel. Oh my gosh. And he did what's this other stuff? I'm pulling up his stuff right now. Who is this dude?
Look up Eli Roth. He was in Inglourious Basterds, which was a role that people liked him in. Like he played in it. He didn't direct it. That was Quentin Tarantino, right?
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm. But Eli Roth as a director, like he's been kind of hit and miss, and for the most part, folks haven't been super happy with his output. So for him to be attached to this movie doesn't really bode well. Like he could take this and just do an entirely different thing that has nothing to do with any of the game's plot. Like how would that make you feel, gamer? Like would you still be excited if this strays completely?
No, of course not.
I don't think anybody
would. Absolutely not. And I want to get a wiffle bat and bonk him and tell him that he's been bad and go fix it.
I'm gonna tell you something. No matter what happens, the gore is going to be good in this movie because he's done a whole bunch of horror movie.
Right, but this is connected to. Like, you think they go for like a R rating for like a video? Because remember, this is Hollywood. This isn't the gamers collective saying this is how a movie should be. This is Hollywood trying to profit off of a popular franchise. You think they'd go for a hard R rating when Hollywood has the perception that video games are for kids and want to bring the family out and stuff? Like, I feel like that's a tough sell.
I could see that. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say half. A good amount of Borderlands appeal is the gore and the explosions, and not having that is taking a lot away from the feel of Borderlands. So that might be a hindrance.
Yeah, it would be trying to have Deadpool without the fourth wall breaking.
Exactly, or trying to have Deadpool without cursing,
or that.
Yeah. So yeah, like
I think it's gonna have to be an R rating if it's gonna be decent.
If you want it to be good, you think it would need the R.
It needs to be R rating, yeah.
Rather than if it needs to be good, if it was gonna be Borderlands, it needs DR.
That too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be good without it.
I mean, whether it's true to Borderlands, I feel like it being good is still a 50-50 shot.
I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah. I mean, just like you guys are fans of that world much more than I am in recent days. Like, I liked the gameplay loop of the older games. It's kind of grown stale to me nowadays, but the story has only ever been good in 2 to me.
I feel you. Let's see what they do.
True.
Let's see what they do.
We'll keep an eye on this if it even sees the light of day eventually.
Yeah. Next thing you know, next week. Well, that was canceled.
Right. Speaking of canceling, though, Blue, you brought up this next topic.
Bruh. Okay, so this is getting interesting. Sony will not attend PAX East due to coronavirus concerns. Oh, they said we're not going to risk it. We're not rolling the dice.
Yeah, they said we don't want our staff to run the risk. We're blah 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 blah, and then said that it was because of coronavirus. So what? So Blue, they say in the story, right? Like, what is the scare that they're referring to? Like PAX East is held in where I forget.
Oh,
like Boston or something.
Yeah. Oh crap! I don't remember now.
But I'm pretty sure PAX East is held in Boston, city of Boston.
Yeah,
it's in Boston. It is.
And apparently, one of like a recent case of a coronavirus patient occurred in Boston. So the scare is that it could spread. So Sony doesn't want to bring a bunch of its essential staff there to show off stuff because they would get the coronavirus, come back, to Sony headquarters, maybe all of Sony's affected. It seems, I mean, it's concerning, extreme, but it does seem a bit extreme.
Is it really that?
Right? Yeah. Like, does it seem like an excuse?
What's the actual word, the medical word for it? I see it all the time. The actual medical word for like a disease's ability to transfer from one person to the other. It's contagious. I guess it's like a level of contagiousness. Oh my goodness!
It's contagiousity.
It's something like that.
I'm almost certain it's not that.
You get the vibe.
You guys know what we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about. How easy is it to catch the coronavirus? Like, is it something that a mask and washing my hands can fix?
I think so. Like the main way it spreads is like the droplets, like from like a sneeze or a cough.
Yeah.
Like when that stuff hits a person, like another person in close proximity, that's how this virus is spreading. It's not like airborne. It's not like breathing on people. It's like you have to be in close proximity, and that person has to be very rude in terms of how they're coughing and behaving. Like if you sneeze or cough into your elbow, you're not gonna spread whatever you got.
Wash your hands, wear a mask.
Exactly.
They can all be like the masks can be stylish too. They can have little Sony logo on them. I mean, people would like that.
But
I think people would like that.
Here's the concern though, with Sony skipping PAX.
And E3.
Where are they going to announce whatever it is they're planning to do? They're skipping E3. They're skipping PAX. Supposedly they have games. They do have a new console that they have still yet to unveil at all. When are they going to do this? Like
they changed the 405, man.
Like at CES, they basically just said, "Here's our logo," and that was it. Like they're really drip feeding the information.
It's a little concerning.
Like
I could it be possible that they try to do a live stream sort of like a PlayStation Direct?
I think that's what they're aiming
is that maybe where they're going to go? Like we're not, because in one sense, yes, they're not going to be going to E3, they're not going to be going to PAX, but let's get everyone's undivided attention on us and us only, with us introducing everything that we have to offer for you, our own space. You don't got to worry about anything else. That way they still show whatever it is that they want, and it's properly curated to be basically exactly how they want. This whole thing where they're not showing because of the coronavirus, I don't want anyone obviously to catch anything or to get anything, but there is a way for you to sterilize an area where you don't have to worry about things like that. So
and this seems to mention that in their counter statement that, hey, we're making sure like the area is clean and like we're being very diligent about this.
Yeah, I feel like it's yeah, exactly. I feel like it's, you know what? We don't want to risk it or anything. We're just going to go do our own stuff. And by that, I mean, okay, guys, it's actually planned for some crap, because what are we going to do to show these people? Like, what do we got?
Yeah, like they were probably going to announce that they were going to skip it anyway, and then took the opportunity to make it about coronavirus.
Yeah. Boom, post it. Like that's how I feel about it. Like, you know,
I mean, do you think it's a good idea though? Like Sony kind of turtling up, doing the Nintendo Direct-esque thing and just getting all the information out the way they want to, away from like the spectacle of E3. I know it's going to hurt E3 by Sony not being there. They're a very important part of the gaming industry as a whole.
Yeah,
but will it hurt Sony?
I think that flattery, imitation is the best form of flattery. And if they have to do things similar to what Nintendo does, then by all means, give it a try.
Nintendo also shows up for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
true.
And
they have a good physical relationship with their fans.
Yeah. So if Sony wants to turtle up, play the long game, Nintendo played the long game, and then we got the Nintendo Switch and everyone lost their collective minds. Let's see what they could possibly do. Obviously there's Resetera has many insiders talking about what they believe Sony's going to be unveiling next. So if it's just going to be a whole bunch of leaks and then Sony's going to talk about everything, and it's like, yeah, we already knew this, can you give us something else? Well, it's like, well, Sony's going to be caught with their pants down. Oops.
I really hope that they're doing all this to kind of like build up suspense for a huge reveal that's going to be amazing and it's going to blow everyone's minds. And it's going to make me want to get a PS5. I hope that's what happens.
I'm of the mindset that Sony is in the lead, and they're
lead of what?
In the lead in terms of console, like mind share. Like they're the most popular. They're winning the console war. Like if you had to ask who won this console war generation, people are gonna say Sony and PlayStation 4. So they're taking that energy and they're making the same mistake that Microsoft did before them and that they themselves did before Microsoft, and they're doing whatever they want regardless of what anybody else thinks or cares about, and they feel like the fans will just accept it. And I wonder how far they can push that. Because time and time again, you've seen fans are fickle. Like, yes, you'll have the diehards who will just stick with the company no matter what. But you cross the main, core gamers one time, and they're off your ship immediately. You saw them all jump from Nintendo to Sony. You saw them jump from Sony to Microsoft, and then back from Microsoft to Sony. Like, it happens. It keeps happening. When are these guys gonna learn? That's how I feel. This just gives me that feeling that Sony is like, we're the big dog on campus. You guys, we'll lead. You guys follow. We don't care what anybody else is doing. We'll just do what we want to do. So we're not paying for your stupid conventions. Get out of my face, E3. Get out of my face, PAX. We'll do our own thing. Everybody show up to the party.
What I hope doesn't happen is at the end of the day we find out they had nothing. They're just on top.
That would be disconcerting. Like they're just buying time. Nothing comes out. All these new things released from everybody else, and then down the road, you're like, okay, here we come now. I feel like it'll be too late if that's the case.
I really hope they come up with something that's going to blow our minds and make me be like, oh, I need to get right back on my PlayStation.
So, moving on from Sony handling things with their directs, Nintendo did a direct.
Yeah.
On Animal Crossing. Gamer, he's our resident Animal Crossing expert.
Already. Y'all got to watch these, by the way. You got to see our facial expressions. Gamer is so ready to talk about this.
Let us know what Nintendo revealed about the new Animal Crossing.
So Nintendo released a wonderful direct for Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I have to say, through my co-host, Kitty Duvall, I am very, very excited, and I'm excited for reasons that you might actually enjoy yourself, Blue, because there is actually a significant level of customization that you can do not only with your character, but your island. So one of the things that you can do is once you have completed enough tasks to get Nook Miles, that's your currency. That's one of the other forms of currency, with bells being the main source of currency. You get to get what's called an island permit. Then you get to basically customize the island's topography however it is you want. Do you think a waterfall needs to be here? Well, then add a waterfall. Do you think a cliff and some stairs need to be here? Oh, we'll just do that. Put a little moat around your house. Why? Because you can do that. And now normally it would be like, okay, yeah, whatever, you could just do that in Minecraft. But the level of detail that you can have with your hair color and clothes has significantly increased because nothing is gender specific. You could have the boy base look with a dress, or you can have a girl's hair with the like all that stuff. All that stuff is completely free and on the table. Another thing that was very nice, though I'm still going to ding Nintendo for the whole one island per console.
Yeah.
do have is you have your best friends. Now you can invite people to your island, and unless these people are best friends, they don't have access to anything that would cause damage to your island, like the shovel or the axe. So you don't have to worry about getting griefed on your island. Like only
but you
your
do have
best.
to invite them, though, right?
Yes.
So you can invite them without giving them the permission to mess up your stuff.
Right. Only best friends can use like the axe and the shovel and things like that. Okay, and another thing like that is, it's not like random. Like in order for someone to come to your island, you guys have to actually share a unique passcode, and then you can go in there. So at no point is just someone randomly just
walking through your place.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about any of that.
They are also that people like did. I feel
in Final Fantasy. In Final Fantasy 14, just yesterday, there was someone walking in my yard, and I was like, "Who are you, and why are you here?"
Yeah, especially because
people just wondering.
Well, because like in Animal Crossing New Leaf, you don't have the ability to designate where the residents can be because people are just in your town. With this island, you can say, no, you're going to live here. You're going to live here. You're going to live here. It's your island. You get to make it just as you want, so which is fantastic. They've also finally incorporated more use of the Nintendo Switch app that's on the phones. That is what you're going to use to communicate with people on your island, send messages and things like that. Yes.
You can't do that without a phone?
Well, the idea is that, for example, if I'm on your island together, then I can connect via voice chat or send you a message and it'll pop up as a chat bubble with that character.
Okay.
So, hopefully they don't get rid of that like they did with, I believe it was Spot Pass, because, people were being weird and creepy with sending messages and whatnot. So let's hope that does not happen.
I have a question though. So, is that the only way you can communicate? Because I think that's what Blue was asking. Like,
we already know Nintendo ain't great with this.
Yeah, I'm like, is that the only way you can send messages, or can't? Because what I'm thinking is, if you're playing Animal Crossing handheld, which most people likely would do, they take it around. You're not gonna want to hold the Switch in your hands and then.
Well, no. Like there is a voice chat capability within the app. Yes, on the phone. Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Without the phone, what can we?
Oh, without the phone, no. Yeah, without.
We don't have to be on Discord talking.
I mean, and that's what even the Splatoon 2 community is doing. Like they use Discord, even though Nintendo was like, "Hey, we gave you guys this amazing app for you to talk with your squids," and
Smash
it's like,
the same way. Like all their voice chat stuff is supposed to be through that Nintendo app, and that is unacceptable. That's dumb. It's a dumb way to do it. Stop.
It is.
I think it's more to protect kids. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
they do mention that in the direct. They do mention parental control in the direct for like who can do what, who can send what, and they push again the app to use all that stuff. But I got to go back with I do agree with you.
I got to give my kid a phone, is what you're telling me, Nintendo. Like, cause that's not acceptable. Like, put parental controls in your system, in the game. It's your game. Yeah. Put the controls in the game. Put the voice functionality, the chat functionality in the game, and then put the parental controls in there. What are you doing?
I think they, you know what?
Trying. They are trying, and I think that because it's not like they are terrible at making mobile apps, but as far as communication, communication, they are struggling hard.
They are really run.
Oh, good. Okay, can we not? That was just a mistake.
I like it.
A lot of people liked it. I didn't think it was bad.
Okay, when it first came out, though, when the game first came out, and it was like, okay, yeah, here's this level, and then, oh yes, it's free now, and then and then I think for like a month, it was the most pirated app, at least in the Google Play Store. It was the most pirated app because it's just like, okay, this is a nice game, and you're gonna have me pay this much for it?
Yeah, nah.
Do what you want because a pirate is free. That was that was basically what that game came down to. But back to Animal Crossing, so you can customize the island. You start off with a tent, and then, of course, the CEO of Nook Incorporated, Tom Nook himself, will be there to give you, of course, with no interest. You could pay it down as much as you want. He'll give you a small loan of 95,000 bells so that you can build a house, and then when you're finished paying that off, he'll mention that you can just have an expansion to that. So there's another loan. Basically, you are never, ever going to not be paying this guy some form of money. But Isabelle is in there. And that was a lot of people in the Animal Crossing fandom were curious how it's going to be since Isabelle went from Animal Crossing New Leaf to Smash, and now she's here at the desert island.
They're trying to trace her
narrative there.
Yeah, but I don't know how well
it messes up the timeline. We're gonna have to fix
this. Well, what is canon?
Right? Like, well, because we already talked about this before, that we have, I think, 3 games coming out March 20th. It's Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, and one more.
I thought it was just the 2, but
no.
Yeah, those are the 2 I keep hearing about. I can't think of a third.
Yeah, there is. Because we also have let me see. It's
Animal Crossing. Let's see what else. But you know what? I'm really, now that you're saying like it's a little bit easier to visit other people's stuff and customize your own island, as you know, alongside playing your character and getting to know all the NPCs, not even everybody else. I think it's going to be cool, and it might be worth my time just to kind of keep it up. You know what I mean?
And it's a low risk game where you just turn it on and you just,
which one?
You just go, you just go have, you go have some fun. The worst thing that can happen to you is you get stung by a few bees, you get knocked out, and then you just end up in front of your place.
I mean, if you ever watched My Girl, bees are nothing. Nothing to not worry about. Macaulay Culkin found out the hard way.
Too soon.
But anyway, thanks for that update, gamer. I've never been an Animal Crossing fan, but it does seem exciting what they're adding to it, aside from the messaging stuff, because Nintendo sucks the internet, as we all know.
Okay, sorry, I got the answer to our question earlier. So you kind of half right, half wrong. Animal Crossing comes out March 20th. So does Doom Eternal, but another Doom game comes out.
Doom 64. There we go.
And
so that's coming on
20th of March.
Everything or just the Switch?
Everything.
Nice.
Everything.
Okay.
So there you go.
So our final topic we'll move on to. Apparently, Ninja, the world famous streamer.
Wasn't he ESPN Athlete of the Year?
Yeah, he got on the cover of ESPN magazine as their Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
Household name at this point. Plays tons of Fortnite.
Is he on The Masked Singer or something like that?
I think so. I think so. But as popular as he is, he got into a little bit of trouble. Let's say a tiny bit of trouble. Controversial statements he made. Some people agree, some people don't agree with what he said. But in a bit of a rant at the end of one of his streams, he kind of went on a tirade claiming that the phrase, "it's just a game," that he hates it when people use that phrase. Because for a lot of people, himself and other, professional gamers specifically, it's their livelihood. They play it every day. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's their life. So if they lose a match, specifically, if they lose and they start to rage or they yell and scream, for them to be told it's just a game, don't behave that way, it's unacceptable. And that folks who think like that are horrible people to denigrate their passion to that degree. What do you guys think? Is it just a game?
I think you would never say that to a basketball player or a football player.
That it's just a game.
Yeah, that's just a game. And the thing is, you don't say it to them because you don't see them raging out as often because they're not on stream. Ninja got a camera on him 24/7 in this highly competitive arena, and he rages out because he lost. It makes sense. I don't know the extent of the rage. I know he didn't drop any racial slurs because that's what the story would be, right?
Right.
So it sounds like he raged out like he would, and people don't understand the severity of it to him, and that's how I feel about it.
All right. So I looked at this, and the first thing that I thought was, okay, calm the redacted down, Ninja. Okay, just first of all, because now I am Mr. Gamer. I definitely understand how important it is, but everything in moderation. I do understand the importance of not wanting to be told that it's just a game when you are so deep into what you are doing.
That's
and
your life.
Yeah, and to Blue's point, that is what he lives, he eats, he breathes it, he talks about it, cameras on him all the time. So he is in that high stakes mindset more than any of us. But then there's some people who want to be there and who can't, and have to tell themselves, yeah, it is just a game. I have to pull myself away from it so that I can be better, versus being told, oh, hey, what are you doing? Like you aren't putting your all into this. I asked for 100% and you gave me 60. Well, what you thought of 60% was my 100%. This is what I can do. No, that's not good enough. This is bigger than that. And it's like, it's not for me. So I see what he was trying to do. I really, really do. I see what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, the optics of his statement weren't very clear. It really unfortunately was it. Someone like Ninja, someone who does it all the time, yes, it is never just going to be a game. It just won't, because it's his life. But to kind of just like boldly say that statement where no one has made that statement before, not necessarily the best idea. I was not impressed, and I really just wanted him to honestly just shut up. That was not necessary. I'm that's just how I feel, because I don't know what happens when someone gets to a certain level of popularity where it's like, man, all those things that are in the back of my head,
let's say
I have a whole lot of yeah. Let me just get them out right now. Like, let me just say this. This should be fine. This won't be taken incorrectly. Like, not even like, oh, like hashtag hot take or something like that. Like, no, boom, we're here and this is what we're doing. And I'm just like, was this really necessary? What was the goal?
I mean,
what was the plan?
Clearly, it was a reaction to something.
Yeah, people were egging him on. You know what I'm saying? And just like, he's got a lot of pressure on him. If you had a camera on any professional basketball player, NFL player, baseball player, any other sport, you got a camera on them 24/7 before the game, during the game, and after the game, you're going to see a lot of the rage, the same stuff that he did. And if you have people commenting, they'd probably egg on a reaction like that as well. Now, that doesn't mean that Ninja is excused and he doesn't have self-control or anything like that. He could definitely say, okay, guys, I'm done for the night, click. I don't know exactly how much he has to be online, job or whatever. But the fact is, right, do I think he could have toned it down a little bit, calmed down, and just collect himself? Yes. Do I understand where he's coming from? 100%.
It's also not the best. It also wasn't the best for him to like just kind of throw names out there. Like, oh, what if you were told like LeBron James that, and then surely very, very quickly you just have people linking to linking to quotes that LeBron James has made, where it's like, no, it's just basketball. So it's like, I mean, again, yes, like high energy,
those quotes in a relaxed area, at an interview. In the moment.
I will say though,
it caught him in the moment.
I completely understand what he was trying to get at. I still think he's wrong about it. Like, you guys know better than anyone that we're also trying to make video games kind of our lifeblood and such, right? So to us, it's in that vein, it's not just about games, it's about all these other things. But when you see someone kind of get excited or rage out about whatever's going on in a competition or whatnot, when they tell you it's just a game, it's because they want you to calm down, because you're scaring them. You're a little too amped right now. And
it could also be said to just jeer them on. There's lots of trolls on the internet.
I mean, sure.
I can't say 100% that they were trying to calm him down.
But I would say that they're not wrong, because at the end of the day, it is just a game. The thing you're mad about isn't the game. What you're mad about is that you lost, or that you lost money, or that you didn't do as well as you wanted to do. Like, your life is not at stake. So it should never actually be, well, not your physical life, you know what I mean? So it should never actually be that you're so, upset or so raged that you're like throwing a thing that could hurt someone, or you're throwing punches at walls, or, stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's what he did.
You know that, right?
Okay. I don't believe so. I'm not saying that's what he did, but like, that's the kind of path you go down when you're that emotional about a thing that you're doing in general. Okay. So having the self-control to think of the fact that, you know what, this was very important to me, and I'm upset that it didn't go the way I wanted, but at the end of the day, I am still Ninja. I am still LeBron James. I make $1 million a year. This is just a game. Like, it literally is just a game.
I think the word "just" has such a negative connotation and drags down the importance to him that it triggered him. And in a sense, it triggers me too when people say that. And I'm really trying to play serious. I'm trying to win properly and really overwhelm the team. We talk about Overwatch. You can talk about any of the game. Yeah, a lot of people talk to me about my Overwatch enthusiasm, but the fact is, I want us to work as a team and get a solid win, or a good loss, a really good loss. That means we tried our best and the other team really outfoxed us, right? And shoot, I learned something.
But you cannot tell me that in a team, if the person who's the leader and is basically raging all the time and telling everybody, "Oh, you're messing up, do this, do that better," that doesn't denigrate the experience for everybody. Like, that's a worse time playing that game.
It depends on how it's taken. Because when the leader is saying, "Hey, move left, move right," right? And if people are saying like, "Oh, I'm doing bad because this guy's always giving me advice," or it depends if it's coming from coordination or it's coming from scolding. That's really what that leader communication comes down to. If it's communication and coordination and people take it personally, that's on them.
Is it?
But it is. If they take it personally, we're talking about coordination. If I say, "Hey, we're moving in, go left now," right?
And then they don't go left.
They don't go left.
And then what's your reaction to them not going left?
I'm just like, why'd you do that?
So is that coordination or is that scolding at that point?
Oh, at that point, it becomes scolding, yeah, because they didn't listen to coordination.
But what I'm saying is, though, that's a thin line then, right? So at what point are you then making the experience fun? Like, if they're not having fun because maybe they didn't want to go left, maybe they saw a situation that you didn't see and they didn't go left, but it still didn't work out. Because if they went left, they probably would have died, and they went right, probably would have died. But then you're like, why didn't you listen to me? And they're like, all right, well, I don't want to do anything now. I'm sick of this BS. Like,
it all comes down to communication. And we can talk Overwatch specific because that's the team game I play the most. If you're not calling stuff out that you see, like, everybody only has 2 pairs of eyes, right? But when you got 6 people, you got you got 2 eyes, 1 pair of eyes, 2, right? There's 12 eyes on the team. If only 2 are being utilized, what's the point? You got to have the call outs. You have to have the call outs ready. If someone's like, "Hey, I can't go left because XYZ is there," then everyone can coordinate. Like, "Oh, okay, cool, and then pull back, right?" But you can't. There has to be coordination. And if you're doing a solo thing, yeah, people are gonna get mad.
But I'm saying, like, the rage that comes from, wanting to do good and failing to do that, I feel like that has an effect on everyone around you. Like if you're not playing a solo game or whatnot, right?
Y'all lost because somebody messed up.
So then, but the thing is, like, how do you handle that? Because that's the thin line where you can either all dump on the person who messed up or try to build them up to help them get better. And oftentimes, it kind of goes to the part where it's like, well, you're the problem, you're messing us up, and then that makes people not want to play the game.
Those people are weak. Look, if I'm messing up my team comp,
but then again, it's just the game. Like you're calling them a weak human for playing a game.
No, listen. This is what I'm saying, right? In any experience, if I fail and people tell me that I fail, I need to learn from that experience and push forward. That's a strong stance to take. A weak stance would be like, "Oh, I give up, and I'm not doing this no more." But that's in anything.
They're not giving up because they failed. They're giving up because you're telling them that they're bad at the thing that they're trying to do.
See, that's stupid then. And that because if they're not listening to the information, saying, "Hey, look, you didn't coordinate, you didn't give the call outs, and you chose a character that wasn't helping the team." Those are three things that helped us fail. If you change those, we good to go. That's all. If you're gonna take it personally, like, oh, I hate this person hates me, or the whole team hates me, or oh, I failed everybody, I'll never be a player. What? Like, get over yourself, do what you got to do, and enjoy the game.
All right, because Gamer, what's your take?
So here's, I think what needs to be said is, what needs to be mentioned is that it is the job of the person receiving the message to control how they respond. It is not the responsibility of the person giving the message. So to Blue's point where he mentioned, hey, instead of doing this, we need you to do this. And then that person takes it personally saying, oh, you're just telling me what I need to do, like what I'm doing is wrong, I'm not going to listen to you, is not the fault of the person delivering the message. It's the fault of the person who received it. So at that point, yes, that person would be, I understand how that person would be considered weak-minded, because what was said was not an attack. A suggestion or criticism is not always negative. It's however it is you take it. Like absolute prime example. I want to say 5-6 months ago, I was not very good at Overwatch. I played Moira. I did not play Moira to her best. I was not very good as a healer. It did hurt to hear, oh, hey, you need to be doing this more. Hey, you need to be doing this more. Hey, stop doing that, over and over and over and over again. But realizing that, hey, they're not coming at me. It's like I am literally doing these things wrong. Okay, let me switch things up. And now I want to say, and you guys keep me honest here. You've been playing Overwatch longer than I have. I am pretty decent now.
One of the better healers we got in our squad, 100%, much better than you used to be. And you don't hear those things anymore because you're doing your job.
Exactly. So on that hand, it's like, okay, advice was given. I didn't take it personally, and I improved. If the person gets upset after getting that, it can't be the fault of the person delivering the message, because the person could have just not said anything and absolutely nothing would have changed. And in a team-based game, no one wins.
Fair.
And
that's kind of where I see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, when someone says something to you, first think about, is it true? All right. Is it true that I sucked at healing? Is it true that, I could have went left? Is it true that I should have changed characters? No. This person's a piece of crap. I'm not going to listen to him. Yes. All right. I should have done it. I'll take responsibility. Move on with your life. If you're going to take that personally, like, now, if the person delivering the message is like, you're a piece of crap, okay, that's an insult. That's different, right?
That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, the energy from playing competitively is never as constructive as you guys are making it sound. Like, in the heat of battle, in the heat of an Overwatch match, because I've played with you guys as well.
Yeah, and I want to hear this. Come on, because I'm very particular about my constructive criticism.
I don't know about that.
I never call people trash.
I'm not saying you outright insult people, but the delivery can come off as harsh versus as constructive. And honestly, if someone is trying to learn the game, they need constructive criticism because they need to be encouraged to want to play more versus being told you're doing it wrong because like they probably know they're doing it wrong.
So, but unfortunately, now KC, you're getting back to how the person who's receiving the message is interpreting it. Because if the point is to give constructive criticism, but that's not what is actually perceived, again, is that the fault of the person who delivered the message or the fault of the person who...
But what's the message that's delivered? Because that does have an effect on how it's perceived.
That is the question. Yeah. I mean, like, if I'm saying something like, bro, your heels suck.
Well, yeah, that's a direct attack. You know what I mean? But say you say something like, man, we really needed way more heals than we got this match. That's passive aggressive. You're not directly telling that person that they sucked.
Okay. That's telling
but you're also not...
That needs to pop up.
Say again?
That's telling both the healers that we need more healing.
But you're doing it in such a way that sounds like you guys suck. Like you didn't say that, but you're like, man, we had no heals this whole match.
If it's the truth, if your heals are super low and I say we had no heals the whole match, I'm telling the truth.
But is it constructive?
All you got to take from that is I need to do more heals.
Because it's also true that they sucked in that case.
I never said that they sucked though, and I don't.
But that's the truth. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting at. I mean, we're getting way off base from the original point.
No. People say this about me a lot though. That my enthusiasm, especially for Overwatch, is what's the word?
Aggressive?
I'll go with aggressive. Yeah. And I will counter that by saying they're not listening. They're taking everything too personally.
I would say that answer is also aggressive.
Cool. I'm aggressive first. If you don't like it, step out the way, please. I'm here to do work, get stuff done, and have fun in the process.
Because I understand you want to win. So, like you're playing a game, you want to win. That feels
I want to have a good game. That's the thing. That's what people don't listen to. Right? They say, oh, Blue just wants to win all the time. No, he just wants to have good games. Like I said before, if I lose to a good game, I'm happy. I really am. But if I lose because we failed, that's where I get upset. I'm like, okay, what can we do better? What can we do better? I always ask that. What can we do, guys? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? And then when nobody says anything, that's where I get frustrated because no one's coordinating.
But why do you think they're not saying anything?
Because they're not saying anything.
But why do you think they're not saying anything? Because
there's silence in my headphones.
No, because the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the energy that's coming off of you is basically the energy that is coming off of Ninja. It's the frustration. Like you're.
Hold on. Let's
still in the middle of the game. I'm supposed to sit there and be like.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the energy that gaming at that level, gaming competitively, produces. So that's why we need to be cognizant of it. So you can't say it's fine because that's what it is, and it means more to me. So it's not just a game. Like, no, it is still a game. Regardless of all of the energy you're putting into it, it's still a game. No one's going to die. So take the energy down a notch. That's what I'm getting at.
I would disagree. I would disagree, and I realize we've been going on with this for a while, but I disagree, and and here's why. Both of you are actually 100% correct. You're just speaking at different, just like you had mentioned, Casey, levels of energy. There is nothing wrong if Ninja were to say what he said with people who are just always at his level, because it would be completely understood. There'd be no miscommunication. But when the message went out to the larger audience of people who weren't at his level and probably have no intention of being at his level, they're just like, why are you taking this so serious? What's going on? When the initial message that Ninja was trying to get out was probably something along the lines of try your best, never give up, never surrender, push through. So when blue is at, let's just say on a scale of 1 to 5, if blue is at a 4 and the rest of his team is at a 2, when he says something, it's not going to, no one's at his level, so no one's going to instantly gravitate to, boom, okay, I got you. It would be looked at as, hey, whoa, what are you doing? To which would then upset blue, because it's like, okay, so what's going on? No one's listening to me. No one's trying to do anything. But to the people who are at a 2, they're looking at this like they just don't have that high level of stakes. So it's just meeting them at the same level. If it was, look, I'm just using this example, like me blue and Sincere. We all get in the zone. We're at like a 4 or 5. Like, hey, what's going on? Let's do this. Let's change this up. This isn't working.
And we almost always have good games.
And it's good games. It's good games because we're all speaking to each other at a level where we can all instantly understand. Like, for example, if blue is tanking, I'm going to heal, and Montegas is going Doomfist. And it's like, oh man, I could really, I could have just used a little bit more. I could just use a little bit more heals. Okay, boom, next match, gotcha. Switching things up. Versus if I wasn't at that level, it would have been like, well, what's wrong with the heals that I gave you? Why didn't you do something different? Thereby me taking it personally because I'm not at his level. So you're right, Casey. Like, hey, you are being aggressive. On blue side, it's, well, I'm not so much being aggressive as this is where I am right now. You and I are on the same levels. We're saying the same things. We're playing the same game, but we're not playing it at the same level.
I can see that.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
I can see that.
But you are arguing that it's still the fault of the people you're, to use your terms, you're talking down to because they're on the lesser level. You're talking down to them saying, come up to meet
you make
me
it
here.
sound condescending.
No, I'm not. This is what he said. He said, we're not on the same level. You're at a 4, I'm at a 2. You're saying, come up to meet me at my 4, right? Like,
no, that's not what he said.
No. That is not what I said. That is not what I said.
Nah, chill, bro.
So then how do you communicate? Are you saying don't play together?
No. What I'm saying is, if someone, okay, so
because
if
you're at 4 and they're at 2, and you tell them, look,
we got to
step
up.
Thank you.
And there it is. We got to meet at the 3 then.
We have because here's the thing: no matter what, the fact that not everybody is on the same level is a problem is a problem on its own. Everybody, we got to get on the same. We have to get on the same level.
So do they got to come up or do you got to come down?
Yeah,
it's going to be a
compromise, bro.
It's going to be a compromise on both sides.
Okay, then
because
that sounds fair.
Yeah, it has to be a compromise on both sides, or else you will continuously have the issue of communication, and you will continuously, I'm not going to say lose, you will have bad games. It has to be a compromise of that. It's not 2 coming up to 4. It's not 4 coming up to 2. You guys meet right here, see what's going on, and then whether everyone's energy level comes down or everyone's energy level comes up, everyone's playing at the same sheet of music. Let's do this.
I feel that.
So we'll close that topic off. And we did run exceptionally long on that last topic. So unfortunately, we're going to have to skip our mailbag. Snicks 360 definitely has more questions in line for us. But yeah, we'll definitely move that to a later podcast. Real fast, let's let people know where they can find us if they're looking for us on the internet. Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. You can find me on Twitter with that handle. You can find me on Instagram with that handle, and on the PlayStation Network too. It's the same thing. I'm not on there as often. But you can hit me up. I have my messenger still. If you want to send me a message, also on Xbox. On there. All of my robots. Yo, for real though, I get spam all the time.
Spam on the PS4.
Oh yeah,
but I've never gotten that once on the Xbox. I'm sure it's happened.
I have. Yeah, I've totally got spam. Or like spammy friend requests on the Xbox. But like, anyway, the messages on PS4 are some
that's weird. What I'm talking about.
Weird.
Very weird.
Like, hey, here's this link to my pictures. What?
Yeah, none of them are English. On the Xbox, you can find me at BlueBones XB as an Xbox, Wakanda Forever. Check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you're already here, that's wonderful. Click that share button. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
If it was your first time, click that follow button. We appreciate y'all most definitely. Y'all got it. What's up?
Gamer, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
So I am most often on Twitter with SBRMRGAMER. I've got my podcast SBR Reports that has gone up Friday. We basically just gushed about Animal Crossing because that was all that I really cared about during the week, which was indeed Animal Crossing. It's Mr. Gamer. It's SBR_Mr. Gamer on Instagram, Facebook.com/StarButtonReview. And then there is the StarButtonReview.com, which is the best place to get all of my recent updates. And with that being said, if anyone has anything that they'd be like, I would love to hear this read, hit me up with that, because I actually have to start practicing for voice acting school, which starts this coming Wednesday. So, I got to make sure that gets get a little bit of work in that. But
true. Yeah,
that's where you can find me.
Yep.
Awesome. You can find me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Sun. You can find my 3-minute reviews for Escapist Magazine on escapistmagazine.com, as well as Escapist Magazine YouTube channel.
That's right.
Most recent thing I've done is for my other job, The Realm. Yesterday night, we just had our 4th Smash at the Realm tournament. Biggest attendance we've had so far.
Y'all had a huge turnout.
Yeah, 35 entrants in the tournament.
Nice.
Over 40-something people in the building.
There you go.
Like close to a 5-hour stream we went for, kind of swapping out casters. So I'm in there for a lot of it. Some amazing games. We had the number 5 Zelda in the country come out and participate in our tournament. So, and fam, I'm going to have to eventually put together a highlight reel.
Yeah, he was on point.
He did some stuff that I've never seen a Zelda do. Jeff needs to pay attention because Jeff plays a pretty decent Zelda.
Yeah.
This guy, Ace Attorney, he's got to watch some of his stuff.
His name is Ace Attorney SSB, right? That's his handle
on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's actually now following The Realm, which is cool. So
we're
best friends now, guys.
All right.
Bring him through on the stream, baby.
So check all that stuff out. Please hit up the BBETGaming@gmail.com email to send us questions or topics that you want us to discuss or things that you're interested in. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks Blue. Thanks Gamer. Jeff will be back in the future. See you guys later. Peace.
Adios.